Okay, again, yesterday we did talk about laws of sine, and the keywords was two pairs, right? Two pairs of angle opposite side, right? For example, right here, we are trying to figure out AC, the length of AC, and then we've got angle opposite side as one pair, and then we've got angle and then opposite side as another pair. That is a perfect setup for laws of sine. You guys okay with that? We've had another example that we went through. We wanted to figure out the angle measurement, but again, you can see that we've got angle opposite side as one pair, angle, which we don't know, we are trying to figure out, but opposite side, still we've got two pairs, okay? That's the setup for laws of sine. Now, the final topic for today, we're going to be talking about laws of cosine rule, or commonly called, okay? Cosine rule, that I want you to see the setup, okay? The setup is something like this, okay? And that is, you've got an angle. Now, first of all, laws of cosine has to do with all three sides, okay? It involves all three sides. Let's maybe write it down. It involves all three sides. So that's a hint, okay? That's a clue. We've got 11 centimeter, 13 centimeter, and X. That's the unknown, right? And then we've got an angle in between two given sides. That is the setup, okay? And the two sides that with the angle in between, those are A and B, okay? And then the angle is the big capital C, because we need to know which number goes to which. Now, here is the formula, right? And you need to basically, simply, we need to plug in, but which number goes which? And that is the kind of the challenge here. Okay, let me admit a couple of people here. One. Okay, I've got one already. And then the unknown is the little c. And then a big capital C is the angle. Again, the setup is, okay, the two sides with the angle, the focus angle in between, those are A and B. The angle that are in between A and B are the big capital C. And the side that right now we are trying to figure out X, that's the little c, okay? Does that make sense? So let's plug in, okay? This is how you set it up. So we are trying to, so X is the little c, so that will be X squared equals A squared. A is 11, so it's 11 squared plus 13 squared minus 2 times 2ab means 2 times a times b. So 2 times 11 times 13 times cosine of 42. I know it's easy for me to say this, but all you have to do is just do the figure this one out. And then at the end, we're going to take square root because we've got x squared is that. But let's figure out what that long expression is. Can you take out your calculator and figure this one out? And then share that in the chat. What do you get? Basically, this is the, I know it does look a little bit long and maybe a little bit intimidating, but all there is for this problem is that you do this, if you can get that long expression correct, then you've got it, okay? So let's figure out, what do you get? 77, very good. Let's do 11 squared plus 13 squared minus 2 times 11 times 13 times cosine of 42. For me, I just type in everything all at once. 11 squared plus 13 squared minus 2 times 11 times 13 times cosine of 42. And I get 77.46. Did everybody get that? Does anybody need any help? Okay, you wrote the program. All right. Is there a cosine rule program? Is that what you're, Patrick? Very good. Nice. So now for those who do not have a program, so we've got 77, but that's not the answer though, right? Because if we want to solve for x, we've got x squared is a 77. So how do we get rid of that square? We have to, the last step is to take square root on both sides. Then the square and square root cancels out. So we've got x equals square root of 77.46, which you will get 8.8 unit centimeters. Very good. You think you can do that? Okay. Now, there is another variation, which is to find the angle measurement. Okay. So let's take a look. You've done this before. Very good. Yeah. I know maybe this whole unit has been reviewed for some of you, but I know for some of you who have not learned sine rule and cosine rule, I hope this is a worthwhile time, but please bear with me if this is, you find this too easy, or, you know, I know this stuff, but okay. So here's the second question. Now, first of all, I'm going to take a look at it and agree, hopefully agree with me that this is a cosine rule, okay? First of all, there is a good indicator that it is involving all three sides. So now I'm thinking, hey, this is cosine rule, maybe, okay? Now, if you're thinking, let's say, could this be sine rule, which is two pairs, right? Now we need to figure out the angle C right here. Let's put X right there. Now, could this be possibly be sine rule, 2 pairs? The answer is no, it is not. You cannot use the sine rule because you've got angle opposite pair. That's one first pair, right? But then where is the second pair? We have no idea about any of the angles. So there's no way to find the angle measurement. You don't want to put another variable y. Then you've got 2 variables. You can't do that. So there is no 2 pairs, okay? But we definitely have the angle, which we are trying to figure out, and then the 2 sides with an angle in between, okay? So let's apply the numbers into the equation, okay? First, we need to identify which is A, which is B, and which is C, okay? And then which is the angle, okay? Now, definitely the angle is we need to figure out the angle C, right? That's what the problem says. And so A, again, A and B are the ones that have angle in between. So that means 8 should represent A, and B is represented by 5 represents B. Does that make sense? Because the angle, you don't want to have a 7 and 8 or a 7 and 5 as A and B because there's no angle involved, okay? You okay with that so far? That means little c is going to be the 7, okay? And then the big capital C is going to be the angle X. So let's set it up, okay? So it will be, so here's the formula, sine rule formula. Okay, also, you know what? Let's write this down too, maybe in your notes. A and B are the sides with the angle in between. Is my English making sense? So A and B are the sides that has the angle in between, okay? So that's that. That's how you identify A and B. So it will be C, which is a 7. So 7 squared equals 8 squared plus 5 squared minus 2 times 8 times 5 times cosine of, let's put cosine of C or X. You can put X. So we are after the angle measurements, okay? So what do? It's a little different from the last problem, right? No, that's a very good question. There's a question in the chat. Would you guys take a look at that? Does it matter which one you call A or B? The answer is no, it doesn't matter. So you could call 5 as A, 8 as B, but 8 and 5 has to be A and B. It doesn't matter which one is A and B, but it has to be 8 and 5. As long as it is 8 and 5, you're good. Now, let's evaluate as much as we can. 7 squared is 49. 8 squared is, what is that? 64. 5 squared is 25. And then we can add them together. That's, what is that? 89. 89. And then 2 times 8 times 5. That's negative 80 cosine of C. Is everybody with me so far? Again, these are all multiplied together. Okay. Multiplied together. Now, what can we do next? Are you following this? Can we subtract the 89? 89 is floating by itself, right? So we can get rid of that. So we've got, what is that? Negative 40 equals negative 80 cosine of, can we just put x? Let's, I would rather just put x there. Now, what do you think we can do next? Can we get rid of negative 80? That's a multiplied, right? So how do we get rid of that negative 80? We can divide by negative 80. And that cancels out. So now we've got cosine of x equals negative 40 over negative 80. What is that? Negative divided by negative, that's positive. 40 divided by 80, that's 0.5, isn't it? Right? So 0.5. Or 1/2. Very good. Is everybody with me? I hope I didn't lose anybody. Now, what do we do next? How do we find angle measurement? You guys remember that? How do you find angle measurement? Use, what's the key word? Inverse. Is everybody thinking about that? To find the angle measurement, you have to use the inverse, okay? So x equals inverse cosine of 0.5. So what do you get? 60 degrees. That's a lot of work, but I hope you were able to follow the step here. I definitely figured it out, 7 squared, 8 squared, and 5 squared. I multiplied 2 times 8 times 5. I did that first. Okay, and then you get this. And I just added 8 squared and 5 squared together. That's 89. Subtracted 89. Divided negative 80 on both sides. Then took the inverse. Okay. Very good. Excellent. All right. I know some of you have done this. Seems like some of you have done this before. And maybe some of you, it's a review. But let's go through again. I've got 6 problems. 3, you have to figure out the side. And then 3 of them, you have to figure out the angle measurement. Okay. So let's go through that. Okay. I think we've got time to finish all the problems here. You guys ready for the assignment? Does anybody need more time to write this down? Any part of the notes? Somebody's calling me. Got a class. All right, let's begin our assignment. Again, the first of all, I know that all the problems is a cosine rule problems, but on the test, I'm not going to tell you, hey, use cosine rule or sine rule. You have to determine, right? So to practice that, yeah. So to practice that, we have to first recognize that this is a cosine problem, cosine rule problem, okay? So let's take a look. What are we trying to find out? We are trying to find out AB. Here's the question. Find AB, okay? That means let's place X over here, okay? And I'm gonna write down the cosine rule problem. C squared equals A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cosine of capital C. Okay, that's the cosine rule. Now, which one, basically you have to figure out which one is A and B. You guys remember what I just said before? A and B are what? Maybe you need to write this down. A and B are the sides that has angle in between. Okay, those are A and B. So in this case, A and B are 13 and 29. Or maybe you're calling 29 as A, 13 as B. It doesn't matter. Okay, but A and B are that 13 and 29. And C, I guess we can just put C is the A and B. And then that big capital C is a 41. Does that make sense? You can just write down the equation. Yeah. So let's set it up in an equation. Okay. So I'm going to do this. Let's do this one more time together. Okay. So C squared, which we don't know, or do you guys want to do that X right there? So I think I rather use X there for unknown. So X squared equals A squared, which is 13 squared plus 29 squared minus 2 times 13 times 29 times cosine of the angle, 41. Do you have the same setup? Would you guys check your notes? Okay. Now, what do? Well, you basically need to rely on the calculator. Let's do this. Okay. Now, what do you guys get? Well, I've got a projector actually that I've never used. Okay, it's not plugged in. What did you guys get? 13 squared plus 29 squared if you have a pretty decent scientific calculator like this one, you can just type everything in like here, and then you should get the right answer. You got 440. Did you guys see that? So I get 440.94. Save that. And then you've got to do what? Don't forget to take square root, because right now x squared is 440. So to isolate just x by itself, you've got to take square root. Okay. So for that, square root of that, you get 21. Yeah. So x equals 21, or 20.998. Okay. Be able to do that? Let's do number 2. So you do this all by yourself. Number 2. Now, which one is A and B? Okay. We're trying to figure out BC. So that's X is over here. I'll be right back, guys. Okay, so how did it go? What are you talking about, Mrs. Takara? So that was Mrs. Takara. Okay, let's go over. So the setup is, so again, we have to identify A and B. A and B are the ones that involve has the angle in between. So definitely 30 and 21 has to be the A and B. Okay. So, and then C, or the X in this case, that's a C. X is the one that we are after. We are trying to figure out. Oh, somebody just came in. All right. So let's set it up. Okay. So C equals 30 squared plus 21 squared, A and B, right? Minus 2 times 30 times 21 times cosine of 123 degrees. Okay, so for those who do not have a calculator, there are a couple of things. I think I've showed this to you. I want to show this to you guys one more time. I'm gonna stop the share. If you do not have a graphing, well, you don't need, first of all, you don't need a graphing calculator, but scientific calculator, that is. First of all, you can download a scientific calculator on your phone. And I've got a couple of them. Let me show you. My favorite one is called Calculate. The name of this one is Calculate 84. And if I this has the same outline as my TI, the graphing calculator. So you can just have the graphing calculator with you on your phone for free, okay? So, okay. Another way is you can access graphing or the calculator on online. So Google scientific calculator online or something like that, and then enter. So here it is. You've got it right there in front of you on your Chromebook or whatever the computer you're using right now. Okay. Or the ones that also I like is the Desmos right here. I think it comes up on the first on your search result. Here is the desmos.com scientific. I will share that in the chat to everyone. So the link is on the chat. But here you've got the Desmos, and you can do 13 square. I think this is a square button, like an A square. Do you see that? That's a 13 squared plus 29 squared minus 2 times 13 times 4. Wait a second, I'm all mixing up. 2 times 30. Oh, this is 30. Oh, it's 21. 21. 2 times 30. I don't know if 21 cosine, where's cosine? Cosine of 123. And then press enter. Does that sound all right to you? 2027. Did you get that? And then we're going to take square root of that. And it's in degree, right? Yeah, it's in degree mode right here. It needs to be in degree mode, not the radian. Okay, you don't want that. And so you do square root of. Now you can press this answer. Do you see this ANS right here? Answer. Then it will bring down whatever the last answer that you had, result you had. So that's another way to use the answer button right there. And it is on your calculator as well. There is answer. Mine is right here. So you gotta do second and this minus button. Then you can bring down whatever the previous result. Okay. And then press enter. So 45. Okay. So first of all, C squared is 2027.245. And then you take square root of that, you get 45. Well, I guess you're not seeing that. Okay. Stop share. Was this helpful to you? I don't know. I was wasting your time. Or so you don't have to purchase a calculator, but there are lots of resources online or on your cell phone. You can download it. Again, this is my cell phone, and I've got the identical layout. This is not a TI, but somebody came up with a same TI layout, and with the same thing that you can do. Everything that you can do on this graphing calculator, you can do that for free on your cell phone. Did that answer? Was that helpful? Allison, are you doing okay with the calculator stuff now? Okay. Okay, let's move on. Number 3. Now we need to figure out the angle. Now, which angle are we trying to figure out? Because depending on the angle that we are finding, then we will know. Then we will know which one is A and B. Okay, we are. See you later, Hugh. My son is just leaving to go to school to catch the school bus. So we are trying to figure out the angle A right here. That means that's the angle that we are focusing on. That means which one is A and B? A and B are that 9 and 6. Okay, it's A and B are always the sides with the angle that we are focusing on. And so 9 and 6 has to be A and B, and 14 has to be that little c. Okay, so let's set it up. So it will be C, so that would be 14 squared equals 9 squared plus 6 squared minus 2 times 9 times 6 times cosine of x. We don't know. That's what we are after. You feel like you can set it up now all by yourself. Okay, I'm going to definitely let you be more independent on the next question, but were you able to set it up? Okay. Now let's do 14 squared. The buttons are really small on the cell phone, but so 14 squared is 196. 9 squared is 81. 6 squared is, what is it? 36. And then I'm going to multiply -2 times 9 times 6. 108. Yeah. So -108 cosine of x. You guys with me? Okay. What do you do next? Can't you add 81 and 36 together? That's, what is that? 117. So what do we do next? We can subtract, you should subtract 117 on both sides. And that's gone. Running out of the room here. So that will be -79 equals 108 cosine of x. You see that? That's what you're going to do exactly for on your own, okay? Now, what's next? Next step is to get rid of that negative 108. How do we get rid of that negative 108? By dividing, because negative 108 times cosine of x, right? So in order to get rid of that negative 108, you've got to divide by negative 108. Divide by negative 108. And that cancels out. So we've got cosine of x equals, I'm switching places, 79 divided by negative 108. And what do we get? Messy number there. It's definitely an irrational number. Negative 0.731. Okay. And then what? The last step. What is the last step, guys? How do you find the angle measurement? To find the angle measurement, you're going to use inverse. And then, so to find x, you're going to take inverse cosine of negative 0.731. Okay, so you go inverse cosine of, you can do answer, or just type in negative 0.731. You should get 137 degree. So that's for number 3. How did you guys do? Are you doing okay? So why don't you guys try? We've got 3 more problems to go. Keep going. So let's work on number 4. We are trying to figure out angle B right there. Why don't you set it up? Would you share your answer from number 4 in the chat? I would like to see it, okay? I don't care whether it's right or wrong, okay? But would you share once you're done with number 4? Okay, yeah. So if anybody is dealing with, even if you type in correctly, some of you might get wrong answer. And the most likely the cause of that is that your calculator is in radian mode. So you need to change that radian to a degree, because this is a degree. There are 2 different type of angle measurements. And one is actually called a radian. And we don't deal with that right now, but we are dealing with a degree, isn't it? So to change that for my calculator, I go to mode. And if I look at from the top of it's in degree, there's another. If radian is highlighted, you're not going to get the right answer. If you, some calculator uses deg or rad, okay, it needs to be in DEG. That's a degree. You don't want rad. It still gives you a wrong answer, huh? Yeah. Take a look at it. If not, okay, very good. How are you guys doing on number 4? 108? Yeah, very good, Crystal. Anybody else? Does anybody have an answer for number 4? Excellent. Just keep going. 2 more questions. Very good. Okay, excellent. So far, people that shared the answer with me, they're all correct. Nice job. Just move on to number 5 and 6. Anybody else who wants to share with me? So again, to identify the A and B, since we are focusing on this angle, A and B has to be 10 and 11, okay? Again, A and B are always the sides that has the angle in between. So that's A and B, okay? So let's set it up. So that means 17 will be C. Nice job, Deborah. That's right. So the answer should be 108, okay? If you didn't get 108, not big deal. Let's take a look, okay? So the setup should be, so equation, we don't see the equation anymore. So it will be 17 squared. It's, again, the equation calls for C squared, right? So you have to do 17 squared equals 10 squared, A squared, 11 squared minus 2 times A times B times cosine of X. That is the setup, okay? It's very important that you have this correct. Otherwise, no matter what you do, you're not gonna get the right answer, right? Now, I don't know what 17 squared is. 17 squared is 289. 10 squared is 100. 11 squared is 121. I know that. And then minus 222. So 220 cosine of X. Okay. So now it's a little bit simplified, right? And we can even simplify a little bit further. What's 100 plus 121? You can add that. That's 221 minus 220 cosine of X. What can you do next? We can subtract 221. You should subtract 221 from both sides. So now you've got 68 equals negative 220 cosine of X. We're now ready to take inverse cosine. We need to get rid of that negative 220. Now, how do we do that? We're going to divide both sides by negative 220. That's gone. Okay, so let's do 68 divide by negative 220. You get negative 0.309 equals cosine of x. Now we take inverse. Now we are ready to take inverse. Okay, taking the inverse is it should be the last step. So x equals, I'm gonna write, switch to places, x equals inverse cosine of negative 0.309. And you should get 180 degrees. How are you guys feeling on this? You guys doing okay? We got 2 more to go. I think we've got time. Yeah, you guys with me? You know, people that are sharing the answers, I know that they're doing okay, but how about the rest of you guys? Will you let me know a direct message to me if you're not getting this? Just tell me, hey, I don't get this. That's okay. No, you're not offending me at all. I need to know if you're struggling, then maybe I can help, right? Okay. Let's work on number 5. We're trying to, now we're back to the finding the side. Find AB. So that's x right there. Okay. Yeah, very good. So let's take a look at number 5 then, yeah? So Mia. So first of all, so here's the equation, right? And I'm speaking to all of you guys, yeah? The first step is to place the numbers into the right places, right? And so for that, we need to identify A and B. Which numbers are A and B? It will be the 2 sides that has the angle in between. So 20 and 22 should be representing A and B. Does that make sense to you all? So 20 will go into A, 22 will go into B, and also there's another A and another B right there. Does that make sense? So that's what you do. So, and then that the last side, in this case, it's this X, that's C right there, little c. So the equation will be x squared equals 20 squared. The answer, no, that's a very good question. It doesn't matter which one you call A and B. So you could call 20 as a B and 22 as a A, but you will still get the same answer. So 22 squared minus 2, 20, 22, cosine of angle 95. Okay. That's how you set it up. Okay. So to find the other side, it's a little bit easier than finding the angle, isn't it? You just need to type that in the calculator and then you will get x squared equals, let's take a look, 20 squared plus 22 cosine of 95. I get 960.697. And then we're not done yet because it says x squared, right? But we want x. So we've got to take care of, get rid of that square. And how do we do that? We're going to take square root. Square and square root cancel out each other. Okay. So the square root of 960 is going to be, 31. Excellent. Very good. One, Gentry, everybody who shared the answer with me. Nice job. I know we've been at it for a long time, but you guys have a little bit of a gas left for the last problem. Okay, let's do this. We are trying to, let's finish this up. We're trying to find the angle A. So that's the angle that we are after. So which one is A and B? Again, the sides that we are focusing with the angle. So 18, I'm going to call A, and B is going to be 21.9. Okay, and then the little c is going to be 10.4. So the setup will be 10.4 squared equals 18 squared plus 21.9 squared minus 2 times 18 times 21.9 times cosine of angle. Just remember, always sine, cosine, tangent. When you use that, always sine of angle, cosine of angle, tangent of angle. They're all one package deal. Remember me saying that? So it's a cosine of angle. Okay? But we don't know the angle, but that's what we are trying to figure out. So cosine of x. 10.4 squared. So now we're kind of making a mess here. 108.16 equals 18 squared, which is 324. It's 21.9 squared. Why did I pick this question with the decimals? Okay, let's see. On number 5. Oh, did I mess up? Oh, yeah, sorry, that's my bad. It does look like 2.2, doesn't it? It's 22. I'm sorry if you were just looking at my handwriting, and so that's 22. Yeah, my bad. We should. Layla, I hope you weren't trying to figure out and spending time to why you're getting the wrong answer, huh? I'm sorry. Yeah, that's okay. You can just move on. Let's work on the last problem. We can definitely, we should add that. 324 plus 479.61. 803.61. And then the next step, we should get rid of the number floating by itself, like 803. It's just by itself, right? So let's subtract 803.61, subtract 803.61. And that cancels out. So 108.16. 803.61. That's a negative 695.45 equals negative 788.4 cosine of x. We. Who made this question? Now we're going to divide both sides by negative 788.4. That cancels out. So we've got cosine of x equals, I hope I'm doing this correct. Is everybody getting similar number? No, it's positive. It's positive 0.8821. And now you take the inverse of cosine. So x equals inverse cosine of 0.8821. Inverse cosine of the answer. Very good. Crystal, Deborah, and Juan, thanks for sharing your answer with me. Nice job. You should get 28.1 degrees or 28 degrees. How did it go? Does anybody have any questions or maybe struggling still? Okay, so this is the end of the assignment. As I said before, let's review. So tomorrow we will review everything that we've done for this unit. And then on Friday, I will post the test for you to take, okay? But please make sure that you turn this assignment in. We still have about 10 minutes left. If you would like to stay and maybe ask more questions, I'll be happy to. You can share your screen. I will teach you how to do that, and then I can take a look at your work or your calculator or whatever. If you have a questions, please stay and you can talk to me. Otherwise, you guys have a great day. Okay, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care, guys. Have a wonderful day. Eat some food, get some breakfast if you haven't. All right, take care, guys. Does anybody have any questions?